So we have discussed, right, what are the features of Python, right, and what is the different version that during Python evolved, right? So that also we have discussed, right? Now, today we need to discuss where. Let me wait for this second page. Okay. Python uses. Okay. Okay. So we need to know where this all Python is basically used. Okay. So before going to before starting these things, we have to know that there are basically we are dealing with two types of applications. Two or three types of applications. Okay. There are first type of application is known as standalone. What is happening? Standalone application. Okay. What do you mean by this standalone application? Okay. So standalone application is that application which install on a single machine and work also in a single machine. Okay. That is known as the standalone application. Okay. An application which install and work on same machine. Okay. That is called the standalone application. Okay. There is another thing called web application. What do you mean by this web application? So during this internet era, okay, actually we are working on the distributed network. Means we have to install our application in different place, and it has to mean we have to access that application from different place. Okay, so this kind of application is known as distributed applications or web application. Okay, so that actually this follows a architecture called client server architecture. Okay, an application which follows client server architecture. Okay, so what do you mean by this client server architecture? Actually, they have two different component. One is client, another one is server. Okay, in the server we are deployed our applications. Okay, and in from the client component we are trying to access that application. So this is known as the client server application. Means from client we are trying to send a request to the server. Okay, and server is actually processing our request and generate a response, and he revert back that response to the client. Okay, so this is called the client server architecture. So if I, let's say, if I draw a diagram, let's say this is my server and this is my client. Okay, so basically here inside this server I have this application. Okay, so I'm writing this server, this is the client. client machine. Okay, and my application is placed in here. Here is my application. Okay, so this client is requesting for uh, to this application. Okay, first, so this is the he was trying to send his request. Okay, so here I'm writing this is the request. Okay, which clients is trying to send to that application. Now application process this request and generate a response. Okay, and that response he is revert back to the client. Okay, so he revert back a response here. So this is called the client server architecture. Okay, we can also call this a two-tier architecture because we have two tier is there. One tier is client, another tier is server. Okay, so this is called the client server architecture. Okay, client server architecture. Now here itself only, okay, when I have any middleware in between, okay, so that known as the three-tier architecture. Okay, so if I have any in between in this request and response, okay, if I have any middleware in between, here I have any middleware. So first my client will send data to this middleware. Here the data or request has been validated properly. Okay. Then that validated data has to reach to that server to process. Okay. So these things call as the three-tier architecture. Let me draw that one also. So both are the client server architecture only, but if this client server architecture categorized into different tier. Okay, so let's see. So this is basically client server architecture, mostly the two tier architecture. We can also have, let's say this is the client. Let's say, so no, this is the server, this is a client, and let's say I have a middleware. Okay, now, so this is the client. This is sorry, not just take a second. This is the middleware, and this is the server. Right now, what is happening here? So first, this client will send a request to the middleware. Okay. So here, this request has been validated. So here, validation will happen. Validation. Here, validation will happen. Okay. So, pretty. So here I'm trying to send the request. Okay. So after the validation, why this validation is needed? Because before sending to server, I need to check whether I am sending correct request or not. Okay. So that's why I need to do the validation. Okay. If it is not correct request, then what automatically this middleware send that request back to the client saying it is not a valid request. Okay, so see it, I'm writing here it is a not valid request. Okay, Okay. Now, if the request is a valid, let's say this request I'm sending is a valid request. Okay. So let me write it here. Let me, this is the valid request. Okay. This is a valid request. Okay. So when I'm sending any valid request and validation has been done successfully, right? Then this middleware send that request to the server. Okay. And server will process the data and generate a response. Okay. So he will generate, sorry, a response back to the middleware. Okay. So here I'm writing the response. Okay. Okay. Now this response has to send back from the middleware to the client. This is also known as the client server architecture, but with a three-tier. Okay. Client server architecture, okay, with three-tier. And this is with two-tier. Okay. Have you understood this concept, this architecture, everyone?
Hi, sir.
Hi. Hi.
Um, I have a small question.
Yes, yes, tell me.
Uh, can you go to PPT, sir?
PPT or pen? Means this diagram, right?
Yes, yes, diagram. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Tell me.
Uh, Sir, now,
Hmm.
what is the, I mean, now, normally, if you say any client server or any normal real-time applications, right? Uh,
Hmm.
should we have middleware definitely, or uh, we will not talk about middleware in our Python course. I just want to know exactly what is the use of middleware and why we have to use.
I have told, right, to valid basic, the basic purpose of middleware as is to do the validation, business validation on the requested data. Okay. So validation,
Oh,
so in the validation we have lots of things. See, here authentication, authorization also comes in the middleware, where I need to do that authentication. Let's say, actually, this means when I'm doing with the real time applications, that has web application that has to done on the HTTP. Okay. And I will teach you also that HTTP is a stateless protocol. The stateless protocols means whenever you trying to send any request, every time he will treat that request as a new request. He will not identify whether, that's what's your name, Vinky, right? Suppose whether he will not able to identify whether this request has to come Vinky and the second request also come from the Vinky. He will not able to identify it. Okay. So to make that uh, stateful, we have different methodology. Okay, to make this HTTP protocol as a stateful. Okay. So what there I have to perform the authentication and authorization. Okay. So let's say you are trying for, let's say I'm taking an example of e-commerce website like uh, so like Amazon. Okay. So you can see when you're trying to proceed in, or when you're trying to purchase any items, you have to do the login. Without login, you can't proceed that thing, right? So why that login is required? Because Amazon has to rectify, has to identify whether that user is a valid user or not. Okay, so that's why he was asking you to, before means check out any items, you have to do the login, right? So that kind of login and authentication part has been done in the middleware basically. Are you getting?
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That is the purpose of the middleware basically. Okay. Any
Sir, can you
question?
give an example for with two tire?
Two tire, actually initially the means now nowadays we do not have any two tire architecture. Two tire architecture is like uh, most of the colleges, right? uh, if you have any server room and there is a project repository is there, right? So when you trying to download that sample assignment project directory, that they have means have these two tier architecture there in a college labs and others. Means have you seen means when you trying to means in your computer lab, okay, at the time of examination you have to download some question paper, okay, from the some directories, okay, so that directories is the server of your college, okay, and as a client you have to download that thing. So suppose you are requesting for download that things and they give you that PDF of question as a response to you. Hello.
If it is like in the games, we also download some like updates. It's also concerned to tier.
In games, no, games you have to log in, na. Some games you have to
Mm.
log in. Guest का भी है. They are providing you as a guest, but validation is there, definitely there.
Okay.
Okay, this is the all recent days. Okay, we do not deal with this two tier architecture. All the things have comes with the three tier architecture, and specifically, mostly they have another paradigm that is called MVC, model view controller diagram. Okay, so that I will teach you later, but as of now, you have to understand this client server architecture first. Is it clear to everyone, or still anyone have any doubt? Shall I proceed with the next topic? Please respond, guys.
Yes, sir. You can proceed here.
Okay. Okay. So let me do one thing. Just a minute. Okay. So here I am trying to. This is my client server architecture. Okay. Okay. So apart from that also. Okay. So we have let's say a database application. Okay. Database application. We have some application which is consist of huge number of data, means where I need to process huge number of data, process huge number of data. So that kind of applications, like anyone know, right? Hadoop is there. Okay, Hadoop Spark is there, right? So that also we can develop by Python. Okay, Hadoop's Spark. Okay, and we have something called machine learning, right? So there also we need to use Python. Okay, now this very trend in the market, that is artificial intelligence, right? Here also I need to use the Python. Then for the data science people, okay. Then IoT applications, okay, and also some network servers. These are this mostly that applications where I need to use the Python. Okay, now so we have different flavors of Pythons as well. Okay, so let me write. So different flavors Python. Okay, so what is these different flavors of Python? Okay, so we have, let's say, there is something called C Python. So basically, different flavors of Python means we have different types of Python interpreter, right? So let's say, suppose there is one for Java for C language. Okay, we have for implementing C language we have C Python. Okay. So this is the standard Python compiler implemented in C language. Okay. Then we have J Python. Okay. Python. Okay. So this Python actually initially it was named as the Python. Okay. Initially named as Python. Okay. Later it was renamed to Jython. Okay. So if we wanted to design, means it is actually designed to run a Java program. This compiler is designed to run Java program. Okay, and the C Python is designed to run C program. Okay, now we have another thing, another compiler called Iron Python. Okay. So this Iron Python, so whoever working in .NET, okay, .NET framework. So for that we have another Python compiler that is called the Iron Python. Okay, designed for .NET framework. Then we have PyPy. Okay. So this the main advantage of this PyPy is the performance will be improved because of it has JIT inside it, like for like JVM. Okay, so it has JIT inside it, so that's why it will improve performance. Then I have Ruby Python. Ruby Python.
Sir,
So it
what
is
is this
designed.
JIT, sir?
I'm telling you. JIT is just in time compiler. Okay, so what is having actually in Java? Okay, when I am trying to convert my dot class file to the native code. Basically, this JIT is responsible to convert any intermediate code to the native code. Native code means we know, right? Ki, uh, uh, my system basically knows only 0 and 1. Okay, he doesn't understand A, B, C, D, any English alphabet language, anything, right? Any number. He only understands 0 and 1, right? So whatever I'm trying to write on my computer to give an instruction, okay, that has to convert it to his language also, means to to the machine language, right? This machine language is known as the native language. So that native language consists only 0 and 1 code. Okay. So JIT actually has it is a component which makes any intermediate code to that native code. Native code means that 0 1 code. Okay. Understood? What is JIT? Just in time compiler. It is the full form is just in time compiler. So this Ruby Python is designed for Ruby programming language. Okay. So actually, why this different compiler I'm trying to tell. Okay. So recent days, actually, I have told you, right, ki my Python will support multi-language paradigm. Multi-language paradigm means I can support, I can implement an application on not only in a single language. I can implement it application with multiple language. Okay. To so let's say suppose I wanted to implement my application using Java and Python. Okay, both the language I need to develop my application. Okay, but Java is on different thing. Python is a different thing, right? So there should be a gap between these two language. Okay, so to fill the gap, we need something common so that they will. Let's say suppose, uh, let's say I am from Odisha, right? So I talk Odia, and most of you people maybe know Kannada and something, right? I do not understand Kannada, and you do not understand Odisha, right? So in between, if we trying to communicate with each other, we need some intermediate language, right? So that we will communicate each other. That's why we will talk to English, right? So here also when so that is the gap basically. Okay, so to fill the gap, English will came into picture, right? So here also this compiler did the same. Okay, when there is a gap between two different language, okay, so to fill that gap, some in common compiler is necessary. Okay, so let's say if I trying to develop any application using Python and Java, okay, so that's for that case I need a Jython. Okay, Jython will convert Python thing to Java and Python thing to Java thing to Python. Okay, as per the requirement. So this is the purpose of these compilers. Understood or not understood? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Got it, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I hope everyone has installed the Pythons. Happens that I have did you yesterday, right? Means I have told you how to do it.
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to run a Python program. First, I need to show you entire process flow and all. Okay, then basically I do not need to use any IDs as of now. Okay, later on when in between or when you're trying to go for any advanced part, basically for IDs I am using Visual Studio Code. Okay, that is means very flexible to write any code. Okay, so as of now I need to write on Notepad for Python. Okay, so let's see. Suppose now I need to understand you how this Python program flows is working. Okay, chalo. Mm, so your batch I have created, right? So, let me create a batch. Harsha. Batch. Okay. Now here what I need to do is let me write any code in Notepad first. Okay. So okay, let me create a file, new file. Okay. So first I'm writing a code either in you can write a code in Notepad or IDs. I have currently I'm not using. I will show you that thing in later on. Okay. Now once I write this code, okay, for if I write any Python code here, then I have to save my file with an extension. Okay, so basically the extension should be .py or .python, anything you can use. Okay, then I have to run or execute that program. Okay, and then means that I will go show you how to means execute any Python program. So let's see, suppose I'm writing a Python program. Okay, so as I told you, right, so Python basically is a pseudo code and it is very easy to write and read to means or so that readability is also there, right? So in other programming language we need to do lots of things. We have to import some packages, we have to write classes, namespaces. Okay, so here it is not required anything. Okay, I suppose I wanted to print that any message. Okay, I can directly call any uh, call print function. Okay, and here I'm trying to write any message. Let's say welcome to Harsha Training. Okay, and it so in other programming language also each and every statement has to end it with a semicolon. Okay, but in Python that is also not required. Okay, so now let me save this file. Okay, let's say now I need to save this file. Where I need to save this file in the your group, right? So let's say mm, I'm writing this as a demo one. Okay, should be all files, and here I need to write the extension with .py. Okay, and I'm saving this. Okay, so actually this print actually it is a predefined function for Python. Okay, predefined functions means is automate means it is already defined by Python. Okay, I do not need to create that function definition and try to invoke. Okay, so that is called the predefined function. Okay, so what does this do? Basically it will take a string input, okay, and that has to print on the console. Okay,
Hello, hello.
hello, yeah.
You.
Yeah.
Hey. Uh, what do you do?
Sorry.
Sorry. Um, hey Matt. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
tell me. Yeah, tell me.
Hold on. Is Matt right there?
I'm not able to get you what you're saying. His your voice is breaking in between. Tell me.
Is Matt right there? Oh,
Is my
sorry. I thought I was talking to somebody else. Sorry. 1 second. Sorry.
I hope you are in the class. What's happening? I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Sorry. I was using my computer at work. I'm calling my colleague as well. So I think I got it mixed up. Sorry for that.
Okay, okay, sure. So, are you understanding right what I'm trying to say? Are you concentrating on the class or not?
No, everything is good. Everything is good.
Okay, okay, okay. Now, what I need to do is, so here I can see I have to go to that directory command prompt. So, okay, how I can go that? So here you have here you have to go to this, and here you have to write cmd. Okay, so you would directly go to the command prompt on that path. Okay, so here you can see I am able to get it. Okay, now what, so as I already installed the python, so all the python compiler and other things has been automatically installed. Okay, so if I want, so first I need to do is, first I need to compile this python file. Okay, by the, so by python is also have the virtual machine, right? So that virtual machine is help me to compile this or interpreted this file and for execution. Okay, so how I can do that? So I have to write python. Okay, then I need to write an argument states, that is the m. Okay, that is this module. Okay, and the name of the module is, let's say I'm writing p compile. Okay, hyphen compile. Okay, and I need to give the name of the file name, that is the demo.py. Okay, so if I write this, okay, sorry, demo1 dot file now. Sorry, why it is not coming. Second. Okay, so now it is compiled basically. Okay, so here I'm going to show you one thing. Okay, so see, so as we need to run the program, right? So here actually we need the internal python compiler takes the source code and create the corresponding compiled python file. Okay, which is not visible to us basically, but and that compiler file is saved in the computer cache. Okay, so if we want to see the file, then we can run the below command. Okay, so this is the command we need to provide. Okay, now the thing is, here I have written this hyphen m. So what does this hyphen m mean? Actually this hyphen m it's known as the argument states. Okay, that is, that it is actually it is a module, and the module name is the pi compile. Okay, so this is the module that creates the compile file. Okay, which is actually stored in the pi cache in the same directory. So here you can see, maybe I will not get that thing. Pi, if you have to go to this pi cache, here you can see this demo.cpython, the compiled python file has been generated. So these are, so first first is these things has been generated. Okay, so what does this compile file is, it is actually containing the intermediate code. Basically intermediate code means it has to, means it is has the byte code. Okay, that byte, so now that part, now this bytecode has to run by the Python virtual machine to get the output. Okay, so if I see it, okay, let go a second. Okay, a second. Just a minute. So here we have generated the compile file, right? Now, if I wanted to run this file, what I need to do is I have to write Python, then the name of the file, demo.py. Sorry, my file name is demo1. Okay. See, here I am getting my output. This is ASIC actually printing in my console. Okay, so this is the flow of execution. Okay, understood this point or not?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's say, suppose if I wanted to use Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I'm also showing you how to do that in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so first you have to open your folder directory, right? Let me open where I'm trying to run it. So let's me suppose I'm trying to run this here. Okay, so let me, I have created a folder, let's say pro, uh, programs. Okay, this program is for the Visual Studio Code, right? So yes, I trust the author. Okay, now what you need to do is, first you have to install two things. One is, you can see there is an there you can see here is a button called extensions. Okay, so you have to click on here. Okay, and you have to install two extensions. One is the Python, another one is the code runner. Okay, see, Python. Okay, so these things you have to install. Okay, so this is installing, right? Just see the steps. Okay, don't forget. Okay, so now it is getting right. Let's say I'm trying to create any Python file. uh, so let me close it. Then I need one thing called code runner. This code runner, as I already installed, so these things you also need to install in your system. Okay, now let's see, suppose I need to create a Python file. How I can able to create? So here you can see this is called new file and this is called new folder, right? Suppose you wanted to create directly a file, then you have to click on this option. If you wanted to create a folder inside this, then you have to click on this option. Okay, so as of now I do not want to create any folder, I have to create a file, Python file. So let's say I'm trying to create a Python file and give the name of this Python file is demo1.py. Okay, now it is a Python file. Okay, here I need to write print welcome to Harsha Trainings. Okay, now the point is how I can execute this. Okay, so what you here, you do not need to do that things. Okay, here you can directly execute here. So see, you have to click right click on this program. Okay, and there is a thing called run code. Okay, run Python. Okay, run Python in terminal. See, are you getting this output? Welcome to Harsha Trainings. You do not need to write manually to execute this. You directly, this Visual Studio and the Python compiler and code runner is taking care of that thing. Okay, so this is the purpose of IDs. Okay, there is another IDs also, that is PyCharm, that you can also use, but I prefer to use this Visual Studio Code because it is for multiple programming language. We mostly use this Visual Studio Code. Okay, understood, guys? Or still you have any doubt?
Uh, no, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay, so let me tell you that brief idea about that compilation process also. Okay, chalo. Let's see, suppose so here you can see I have created a demo.py file, right? So this is my Python file. Okay, so what does it do basically, I have told, right? So first it is been compiled, okay, to a Python file, okay, by Python compiler. But then, okay, so let me show. Okay, so here it will create a, sorry, Python compiled file. Okay, but this will, you will not able to see, but in other programming language when we are trying to compile anything using their respective compiler, that compiled file is being generated there. Okay, but if but here you will not able to see those files. Okay, because we are directly able to run that thing. Okay, but internally first it will compile and then it will execute. Okay, so to but I have told you ki how to see the compiled file. For to see the compiled file, you have to write Python then /m pi compile and demo.py. So this will create a PyCache folder. There you will able to see that compiled file. Okay. Once this Python compile file is generated, then my here my Python JVM and Python virtual machine come into place. Python virtual machine come into place. Okay, to make this compiled file for to understandable native code. Okay, so native code, that means the, here I'm writing native code. So that native code is understand by your program and he will able to show the output. Okay, so this is the process flow for your Python program. Okay, understood? Okay, and I'm also give you this line. Okay, just a minute. Hmm. Okay, is it fine, guys? Okay, so now let me discuss about the some naming conventions. Okay, we are going to learn naming convention. So first, okay, so naming conventions means whenever you're trying to give any name to any variables or any identifiers, okay, that has a set of rules, okay, as per any programming language that is called coding standards. Okay, so that we need to follow basically. Okay, let's say before the starting with this, let's say I need you have to know what is basically an identifier in Python. Okay, what is identifiers? Okay, okay, so identify any name in Python means the Python identifier is a name, okay, which is used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or any objects. Okay, basically, uh, any name means a Python identifier is a name to identify a variable, okay, function, whatever the components we have in Python. Okay, to identify that particular component, we must have a name of it. Okay, that name is known as the identifier. Okay, variable, function, class, module, or object. Okay, other object. Okay, so let's say suppose for if I wanted to create any class, I have to provide a class name, right? Class name. If I wanted to create any packages, then I have to give a package name of it. Okay, this is package name. Suppose I need to create any variable, so I have to give a name of that variable. Okay, so that is the variable name, right? Suppose I need to give a name, suppose I wanted to create a particular module, so for to create that module I have to give a name of that module, okay, to identify that module, right? So the name of that module is the identifier of that module. Okay, module name and so on. Okay, to give these names we have to follow some suggestions or rules. Okay, actually Python developer made some suggestion to the programmers, okay, regarding how to write any identifiers name, okay, in a program. Okay, so the rule is, let me run the rule, write the rules. Okay, see, if you do not follow that rules, that doesn't mean that you are getting an error. Okay, but for the to so see, when you write a code, okay, and that has to be understand by other programmer also, right? To make them understand and readability of your code, you have to follow these rules. Okay, this is the purpose of rule basically. Okay, so to rule to define any identifiers. Okay. One is, the first thing is that alphabets can either alphabets can either smaller or capital, both is acceptable. Okay. Second thing is, we can take digits also in for to give a name in identifier. This is basically the 0 to 9. Okay. We can take underscore symbol also. Underscore symbol. These are acceptable. Okay. These are the uh, characters which is allowed to give a name. Okay. Underscore. So this is the underscore basically. Okay. And apart from that, so these three is only allowed. Okay. If you give any other things, then you will get an error. If you trying to use any special symbol like at the rate, hatch, okay, any other symbol apart from this, you have to can only give alphabets, digits, and a special character, that is only underscore is acceptable. Rest all are rejected. Okay. Someone can unmute yourself. There is a music is coming. Yeah. Okay. But here certain rules. So this you have understood, right, guys? Hello. So to
Understood.
so to give a name, only these things are allowed. Okay. Apart from that, anything if you're trying to use it, that makes you an error. Okay. Now here also we have certain conditions. Okay. So here I can say that yes, digit is allowed, but it should not to any identifier should not start with digit. This is also a condition. Here, yes, digits is allowed, but identifiers should not start with digit. Suppose if you wanted to give any name, let's say 2 3 1, let's say because, okay, so this name is not acceptable. Okay, so any identifier starting with digit is not acceptable, though their digit is acceptable, but digit has to be the later one, not the first not the first letter of that identifier. Okay. Now, so this is not allowed, right? Now the thing is, identifiers are case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive? Sensitive. Okay. Sensitive. Okay. Case sensitive means, suppose you are writing Vikas and you are writing Vikas. Okay. These two are separate identifier. They will not treat as the same, because uppercase and lowercase treated as a different entity, not different character in Python. Okay. That's why this is why we can say this identifier name is a case sensitive. Okay. So these Vikas and Vikas are different. They are not same. Okay. So see how I can give a variable name. So see some examples also for giving a variable name and all. Okay. See, suppose I can give emp underscore id. This is also allowed. Okay, so emp id, this name is allowed. Okay, suppose if I trying to give, what do you think, is this allowed? Anyone?
No, sir.
No.
Why?
Dollar symbol is
Because when you say dollar, right, it might take
uh,
as a some inbuilt.
yes, because dollar is other special character. Only underscore will allowed, not any other special character. So see, if I'm trying to write, let's say, suppose, let me create a demo2.py. Let's say, suppose I am writing emp id equal to 11. Okay, and trying to print that. Okay. So see, if I'm trying to execute this, see, I will get that 11 value. Okay, so that means it is acceptable, right? Now, if I'm trying to write these things, you can see I'm not able to write it. So see, it is invalid character is token. Okay, I'm getting a compile time error. So it will give me an error. I cannot write. So if I remove this, see, the error has been gone. So no special character except underscore is acceptable to give a identifier name. Okay, let's say now I can give any
excuse me.
identifier with digits. Okay, so suppose if I try to write one student, that also not possible, because I have told, right, digit is allowed, but that has not to be the first place in any identifier. Okay, it has to be other place. Okay, now I can see I can write student one. Yes, this is allowed. You can see, yes, if I'm trying to write this one, print one, I'm trying to execute. See, I'm getting that output 12. Okay, now you can see the case sensitive case. Let's see, suppose I'm writing a equal to 10, okay, and b equal to 20. Okay, now I'm trying to write print, I'm trying to add these two, means 10 plus 20, I need to get 30. But I am writing a, capital B. Okay, so here I will get an error because this a is not similar with the small a. So here if I'm trying to write execute, I will see an error. Dekho, I'm getting an error. Okay, in the symbol name a is not defined. Did you mean this a? So that is, so see, they are not accepting that this a is this a. Okay, so that means these a are different with this a. This is called case sensitive case. Understood?
Yes, sir.
And also no sub, and there will be no space also is allowed also. Okay, if I'm trying to give a comment, so this is the comment. Okay, comment means this line will not taken as a syntax. Okay, so to make this comment, you have to use hash. Okay, now let's see, uh, suppose I cannot put a space also. Let's say I'm trying to write student space id equal to uh,
Quick question.
30. Yes, yes, tell me.
How many ways do we have to write comments? Is it just one way by writing a hash, or do we have other ways?
So actually, yes, there are. Actually, there are commenting are two ways basically. One is single line comment. One is multi-line comments. Okay, that I will teach. Don't worry. That I will show you the later part. But as of now, just see this. As I have only one line of statement I need to comment. That's why I am using single line comment. Okay. So any programming language has this comment line. Okay, so and that also classified into two types. One is single line. If you wanted to comment any single statement, that is called single line comment. Okay, but when you're trying to comment multiple lines, that is the multi-line comments. So that syntax and this syntax will be get little bit different. Okay,
Sure,
understood?
sure, thanks. Yep.
Okay, so now see, I am writing student space id. So space is also treated as a special character in this Python, so this space also not able to take it. Okay, only underscore as a special character it here Python is taking, not any other special character. So here also I am getting an error. Okay, if I'm trying to execute this, I will get an error. See the student id यहाँ पे invalid syntax. Have you guys understood these things?
Yep.
Okay, so this is for today. Okay, so tomorrow I will start, so means give you an idea about what are the rules for different let's say what classes to packages, module, variables. Okay, now an instance variable, constances. Okay, so I have to give you a brief idea about that. Okay, for
Quick
tomorrow.
question, are we going to have
Yes.
some documentation to read about these? Because, you know, I learn better when I read, you know. I like videos, but, you know, after the video, it easily just disappears, right? So if we have something to read and revise, that would be nice. Do we have any of that?
You can search Google. I mean, you can search that things in Google also. In Google, you will find. But apart from that, also we will going to provide notes. Don't worry.
Okay, so do we have some notes of maybe some
Actually,
vocabulary
that notes
words,
I'm
or we can?
making, I have not completed yet. Once it is done, I will. That has to be shared to you. Okay.
Okay,
Don't
sure.
worry. Okay.
This,
Any
go to
question?
this. Can you go to this notepad as means notes which you've written now here the class?
Tell me. Sorry.
Uh, can you just put the slide this one about this one
This I'm going
identifier
to.
students?
Yes. I am going to share you with you. Just a minute. Mm, okay. So I'm just a minute. Uh, uh, okay. So here I am copy these links and share with in the chat. Okay. Please have a look. Okay. See whether okay. Understood? Everyone is able to access this link. My OneNote notes link, guys. Please check. I have.
We are
It's
opening, sir.
asking
Just wait.
Yep, I
it's
can
asking
access it.
password for me. It's asking password.
Asking password. Why?
Yeah, mine says it's read only. It doesn't require password. It's just read only.
It is anyone, right? I have not set any password also. Why it is asking password?
We can read, sir.
You are able to read, right?
Yeah.
Okay, chalo. It's fine,
And
right?
do we
So
need to
everyone,
save this?
no need to save. I have means whatever the notes I am writing, you will able to get update there. Don't worry. Okay.
Because once we're away from this class, again we can't access this link, right?
No, no, no. It is a permanent link for you. You can able to read that, but you cannot do any edit on that. Okay. We have to. You just only have that permission to read it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Chalo. See you tomorrow, guys. Okay. Have you enjoyed today's session, guys? Let's
Yeah.
see
Yeah,
us
sir.
Yeah.
get a small feedback, huh?
Yes, and
Sir,
please, if
and
you can.
please try to
Huh.
explain us tomorrow what is interpreter and what is compiler. I mean,
Okay. Sure. That you have to ask now.
okay.
Then I will definitely explain. Yeah. Sure.
Sure. Sure.
Yep,
Okay.
and also
Chalo.
these vocabularies are very important to write because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
you need to be able to speak the language, right? So
Yes. Yes.
uh,
Yes.
it is a major blocker, especially for me. So if you can explain some of these vocabularies, that'll be nice.
Okay.
I
Sure.
appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay. Chalo. Bye. See you guys.